Happy Monday. If you guys are looking for the road to a million call, that's what this call is. Are we going to make it to a million? I have no idea. But we're going to talk about our journey on the way to a million. So if this is your first time here, congratulations. Welcome to the party. We've been doing this now for 51 weeks in a row. And I'm no mathematician, but I believe that one more week is going to be 52, which equals a year. 1 year of doing these calls. And not even that amount of work ensures the probability of growing $1 million business. Dang it, thought it would. If you just show up long enough, I thought you're going to get the result. But I guess there's more involved than just showing up. So showing up is part of the equation. It's just not the only part of the equation. And but ironically enough, it's also probably the hardest thing for most people to do is actually to show up. But then we actually show up, like, okay, now I'm showing up. I went all this time without showing up. Now I'm showing up. Now I'm consistent. And I still haven't got the job. I still haven't got the outcome. I still haven't got the result I'm looking for. Yes. Because then once you start to show up, then you start to see deficit in other skill sets that you need to narrow in order for you to get the outcome you're looking for. And so that's what we're going to share with you guys today is our deficits, where we're making progress on them, and what our strategy is to close the gap so we can actually hit $83,000 in a month, right? So again, if you guys are brand new here, welcome to the party. Chat. So two ways to get the most out of this call. Have videos on, like your beautiful faces who have your videos on. What's up, Kristen? Good to see you as well. And then use the chat. Oh, Tanisha Spencer's on here. Wow. What's up, Tanisha? Tanisha. Good to see you, my friend. And so engage in the chat, and that's how you can get value from this and put your videos on. If you have questions, drop them in the chat, because there's going to be things that you guys see today that you're like, I don't understand what that means. And that makes you smart. When you recognize you don't know something, that makes you smart, rather than ignoring it and being like, oh, I think I know what that means. That makes you silly. Let's not be silly, and let's be smart. And when we don't know something, ask. Because there is people in here who have already solved the problem that you have, or have answered the problem you've had, and it can get solved in like a really short amount of time. Okay, so ask questions, and to get the chat going a little bit, because the chat is slow today. Marie, Lindsay, Elia, help me out here. Yes, I am happy today, Elia. Thank you. Put in the chat where you're from. I think this is always where people get excited about, like, they're so proud of where they're from. So you be proud of where you're from. Put in the chat where you're from. Talk about what the weather is, cold ass states, and then I'm going to get into this. Let's do this thing. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share our vision sheet with you. So this is our Mesa 5-star cleaning vision sheet. And so again, it's the first time you've ever seen this sheet before. Ooh, you're in for a doozy. Here is all the numbers. Here's all the data that you can possibly need to know if you want to grow a home cleaning business. Okay. And so we're going to talk about where we sucked at. And I got some news for you. We sucked last week. We lost last week. Right? And we're talking about why we lost and how do we turn that L from last week into a lesson that's going to help us win for the next 52 straight weeks. And then in year number 2 of Mesa 5-star cleaning. Okay? That's what the goal of today is. So again, use the chat, say what's up, ask questions, be friendly. Let's have some fun today. All right. So this is week number 51 of Mesa 5-star home cleaning. This is our second cleaning business that we started. We started this in Mesa, Arizona, which is a suburb, I guess you would call it, of Phoenix, Arizona. And so for the month of February, we're going to talk about our revenue goals. Then we're going to talk about our client goals, and we're going to talk about our cleaner goals. Okay, so our revenue goals, our projected monthly revenue is $63,000, which you guys who are all paying attention, who got your cameras on, can see right here. Our last 30 days revenue, we had about $71,000. Okay, and the next 30 days revenue is $50,000. Okay, so you can kind of see what our February month is, what our last 30 days are, and what our next 30 days projected revenue is. Okay. Current monthly revenue, as of February 21st, we are at $48,000, and weekly revenue last week was $14,622. So if we look over the last couple of weeks here, so you guys can see here we have our last 4 weeks on here. So last week we did $14,900. The week before that, we did 19,485, which if you look at our goal here is 19.1. We actually hit our weekly goal to have $1 million home cleaning business. Now, we just haven't hit it consistently. We haven't hit it consecutively, actually. And so it's possible. Katie, is it possible?
It's proven right there.
Possible, right? And so we know we can do it. Now, can we do it again? And sometimes that's like the hardest thing to do, actually, is do it the second time. The first time, you're putting all your effort into it and you get it, and you're like, shit, do I got to do that much work every single week now? And you guys know the answer to that? Yes. Sorry to put that in your ear, but like, yes. And actually, more. You have to do more work, right? Because clearly, like we did for 1 week, but doing that for 2 weeks in a row is harder, right? Consistency is hard. So, but at least if you can do it one time, at least you know it's possible. Okay. Now we got to break the beliefs. I'm like, can I do that again? That seems like a lot of work. I'm so tired. I have all the external excuses. But the answer is like, do you want to get the job done? Well, that's what you got to do again. And so we'll talk about down below what we need to do in order to make that happen again. Okay, so total number of recurring clients. So our business this week has 157. Last week it had 158. So we actually went down. Boo. Okay, but over the last 4 weeks, it actually has gone up significantly. The last couple of weeks, we've been kind of hovering. Even though, as you guys will see down below, we actually got, I think, 6 recurring clients last week. So guess what happened? Katie, what happened?
We lost 7 then.
Boo. Part of the game. Part of the game. Okay, weekly cleans. We had 63. Goal is 65. So again, over the last couple of weeks, that's kind of been about the average. Except for that 2 weeks ago, we had 80, which was our best week ever. And then revenue per clean, 232, which is a little bit over our goal of 225. Okay. Cleaners goals. So does anyone in here put in the chat if you guys understand how a cleaning business produces revenue? Put in the chat. How does a cleaning business produce revenue? There's only one way a cleaning business produces revenue. What is it? Cleaning. Tanisha, not even a cleaning business owner knows the answer to that. Yes. Tanisha was actually, she's somebody who we became friends in a real estate community that we're part of, right? And so she actually does midterm rentals. That's her thing at the very moment. And I could be wrong. Sorry, Tanisha. It's been a little bit since we chatted, but anyway, very good human. Very good human. Thank you for showing up today. So with that being said, though, cleaning. Yes. That is how a cleaning business produces revenues, by cleaning. And who does the cleaning? Does anyone know that? Come on, guys. Put in the chat. Yes, even you veterans, you guys who like, I know this answer. Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Help a brother out. Cleaners. Yes, thank you. Cleaners. So, now, if cleaning is the only business produces revenues, and cleaners are the only people who clean, let me guys ask you this question. If we had 2 different businesses, we had a business that had 2 cleaners, and we had a business that had 12 cleaners, which business would you predict has more revenue? The business with 2 or the business with 12? This is not a trick question. Cool. Sometimes I think that we just need to do that math to understand that if right now you have 5 cleaners, like, you don't have enough cleaners to have $1 million business. Okay. And so we actually have done the math ahead of time, and we know that in order for us to actually feasibly do $19,000 a week, do 85 cleans in a week, we need 15 cleaners that work on average 28 hours a week. Okay, and so that's what our goals are. So last week we had 15 cleaners that only work 21 hours a week, which means that we have the people, but we just didn't fill the schedules. So as we get down below, we'll show that's one of the issues that we see on how we can solve this problem of not hitting $19,000 every single week. Okay. All right. Total assigned cleaning hours, 275. Again, the goal is 426. So that number is simply just a product of how many cleaners do you have times number of cleaning hours, and that's how you get 275. So in this example, 15 times 21 equals 275. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about what we actually did. So those were the goals. And that's you can see the gap. You can see the gap of what we did and where we wanted to be. Okay. So the revenue build. So last week we billed $48,000. Excuse me, last month. Excuse me, month to date we billed $48,000. This week we billed $14,622. Now the breakdown of that revenue is really important. And so you can see here that we had $3,577 of initial clean revenue. We had $11,000 of reoccurring / occasional client revenue. So Katie, when you look at this breakdown of this 14,000, like, what do you see as an opportunity for us to increase this week's revenue?
Yeah, the initial clean revenue.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you guys have been on here, like in the past couple of weeks, actually, let's just go back and look at it. Let's just show you guys the data here. This is the beauty of having. So last week we actually had $5,200 initial clean revenue. The week before that, this was our big week where we had 19,000. We did almost $8,000 of initial clean revenue. Okay. And the week before that, we did 5,823. And so this last week that we're talking about today, we actually had one of our bigger reoccurring numbers. We just had our lowest initial clean revenue. So if we had a low initial clean revenue, Katie, like, why? Like, what was the input that got the output of a low initial clean revenue week?
Performed quote calls.
Yeah. So as we go down to sales, we'll start to see how do we increase this number, right? Because right now, like, our reoccurring number, $11,000, that's one of our better weeks. And so just the initial clean revenue was just down. So let's talk about received money. So we bill money, but then we actually collect money. So there's a collection. There's a collection process inside here. And so we have collected 47,000 of that 48,000, which is good. Outstanding invoices less than 7 days is 738, which is totally fine. And then greater than 7 days is 3,400, which is totally fine. Okay, those are all good.
I think those are flip-flopped.
Less than 7 days, greater than 7 days. Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think we had a data entry error here.
Data error. Cool. Yeah, so less than 7 days is 3,400. Greater than 7 days is 738. And I'm not going to fix it. You're going to watch me do this. Everyone's going to watch me. I am not going to fix this because why, Katie? What am I going to do after this call?
You're going to give instructions to the person who does enter this to fix it.
Why? I should just fix it for them because it's right here. So everyone's watching me. I'm under the camera. I'm going to look silly.
If you do that, you rob them of the opportunity to perform in the future.
But I'm robbing myself right now of being right. Me, I could be right in this moment.
But then she'll be dependent on you in the future to fix all the problems.
That's what I want. Just like my kids, I want them to need me. I want them to need me forever because then I won't have any purpose if they don't need me. Need me. Somebody need me. Yes, some of you guys felt that. But on a real note, on a serious note, like, if you fix it for them, then they don't get the opportunity to fix it themselves. They'll continue to make the same mistake, and then you'll continue to get pissed off. But really, you never gave them the opportunity to actually fix the work because you keep doing it for them. So that's what Katie said was 100% true. So I'm not going to fix it. I'm just going to make her a Loom, or I'm going to send her a screenshot after this and just ask her, just curious, if these numbers are correct. And she's going to most likely be like, they're not. And she's going to fix them. I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you so much for fixing them. But that's it. And the probability of her making that mistake goes down. It doesn't mean she's never going to make the mistake again, or that she's never going to make mistakes ever again. In fact, she's going to make more mistakes. But each time that I allow her to fix it, it takes the pressure off of me. It keeps the pressure on her. So let's talk about discounts. So total, we gave away 631 discounts. $631 in discounts. I see, Katie, Don Lopez. Tell the story of Don Lopez. This is a great story.
Don Lopez is an awesome gentleman who, when Logan and I when I was doing the cleaning and we had a few helper cleaners, we were just starting. This guy was like adamant about us coming and doing a walkthrough in his house. So we were new to the area, and I was like, this guy seems like he might like have other connections outside of maybe just cleaning, but let's just go over there, meet him, maybe develop a relationship, have some new friends, whatever.
Well, and we looked at his Airbnb because he sent us the listing. We're like, this is a nice house.
Yeah.
Like, let's go check this house out.
We went over, checked it out, and his wife's standards were just like crazy. And I was like, you know what? Like, we would be happy to serve you, but it's going to come at a cost to meet those expectations. And we bid the job, I mean, I think it was like only $60 higher than what their current bid was. And he declined. He was like, no, that's okay. But fast forward, we are now like a backup cleaner for him when he needs help. And here we are not meeting Don's expectations.
Yeah. So good.
Saw it coming.
So good. So good. So, and this is also an Airbnb, which we don't take on Airbnbs anymore either. So, but we'll be their backup cleaner, which means that like if the clean can perform Monday through Friday, then we'll do it. But we're not going to do things on the weekends. So, anyway, just almost a year ago, I think this was March of last year that we went to Don's house, and it was on a Saturday, and we spent probably 2 or 3 hours there. And honestly, we had a good conversation. He's an entrepreneur, and and we were telling him about, because we were just starting this business. We had just started, and we were talking about our first business, and he was blown away. He's like, "You really have $1 million business like of cleaning?" He's like, "Really?" He just like, it was so funny. It was so funny, but it was just funny now to see him up here on the correction cleans. So good. Okay. So anyway, we have $631 in discounts. All right. Marketing message. Last week we sent a internal marketing message to think about it. Cancel for a first clean, occasional, and cancel recurring clients. So we sent it to quite a few lists. We'll see what the message was. We are running a special this week for our new clients. Text me back if you're interested, and I'll get you all the info. What is the rest of this here? Oh, and we sent another one too. Hey, one of our top cleaners had one of their recurring clients move away, and she has an open spot next week. Curious if you'd be interested in that spot. So those are the two messages we sent. We must send those to two different lists. So those were the intro marketing messages that we sent. The second one, I think Elia's on here. So like that second one we got directly from Elia. She uses that one, and it works so good. It's one of our favorite ones to send. And then we sent a follow-up message after that as well. So that's what we did internally. And how much does it cost us to send those internal marketing messages?
$0. Or I guess
$0.
technically a text message, however much that costs.
Yeah, whatever that costs. So nothing's actually free. But when it comes to, did we spend $1,600 on sending those text messages?
No.
Okay, cool. So again, if you guys are inside the coaching program and you're not using internal marketing, yeah, you're missing out. You're missing out on cleans. You're missing out on the opportunity to serve people who either said no, think about it, or they canceled recurring services, or you just couldn't freaking get a hold of them back in January or December or October, or whenever it was that they opted in because they were busy at other things going on. So send them a message, and there's a high probability that if you make an enticing, intriguing, curious offer, they might raise their hand and say, "I might be interested. Tell me some more." Okay. Now let's talk about external marketing. So how do we get those people? How do we get people to tell us no, Katie? How do we get people to say, I got to think about it. I don't want your cleaning service right now. How do you even get the opportunity to even get on a phone call with somebody?
You market to them.
We got to market. Yes, externally. Externally. It was great. I made a post inside the Facebook group that many of you guys probably came from, that Facebook group. And somebody in there actually was like they made a comment about also spending money on marketing, which, generally speaking, it's not a common thing for most business owners, let alone cleaning business owners who are like used to spending money on marketing. This is usually something that I have to like convince people to do by showing them you can actually make money on marketing. However, it was cool to see that someone else came into the community with already like the predisposition, like I already spend money on marketing, and really like I'd rather spend money on marketing than me go around using my time knocking on doors or hanging flyers, doing all the free shit that actually doesn't work. The things that are low cost and also like low probability of working. You just sit behind your computer and get told no rather than going knocking on a door and being told no. And you can do a lot more. You can get a lot more no's faster. So we spent money in 2 places last week. However, if you guys are on next week's, you will no longer see Google Local Services on here. So last week we spent $450, but moving forward, at this very moment, we're spending $0. Why is that, Katie?
Because we are disabled.
Yeah, because our Google listing is disabled. So some of you guys might remember on the day before Valentine's Day, our Google listing got disabled. So at the time we had 403 reviews, and they gone. They still gone. And as of last week, they also, Google Local Services says that you can no longer advertise until your Google listing is active again. And so now we have new Google services, which means we're 100% reliant on Facebook, which is very scary. Very, very scary. But so far, Facebook has been the most consistent thing for us. And so we will rely on it until we can get our listing working again, and then also getting Google logo services working again. So Facebook, last week we spent $1,200. So total we spent $1,650 in advertising for last week. We got 75 Facebook leads, 7 Facebook Messenger leads. This Facebook Messenger leads, this is something that we're going to work on increasing. One of the members of the coaching program, actually someone who I do one-on-one coaching with, he had a really interesting idea, and it seems to be working. And like as I see his numbers every single week, I'm like, that's actually working. And you know how much it costs? It costs $0. And so this is something that I'm learning from him. And then once I learn from him, I'm going to steal it and give it to everybody inside the coaching program. And it's not going to cost you anymore. How about that? I'll get you some more leads. But for right now, we got 7 Facebook Messenger leads. But as you guys start to pay attention over the next couple of weeks, hopefully we can get this number to go up. We have 5 missed call leads. We had 5 Google logo service leads. We had 8 homepage leads, 11 incoming call leads. So we had 111 total leads last week for a cost per lead of $15. Is that good, Katie?
It depends.
It depends, yeah.
What did we turn that cost per lead into?
Exactly. So the cost per lead is fine. It's good. But is our marketing working? Is the marketing working? Do we have enough information to determine if the marketing is working based on cost per lead?
No.
Why?
Because it depends on, I mean, we could get 111 leads and convert none of them, and I would say that the marketing does not work.
Ah, great. So it's the conversion of the leads is how we know the marketing is working. Okay, so let's talk about that. So for all you guys out there who are like looking at marketing and you're like, either you're looking at hiring somebody to do marketing or you're looking at your own marketing and you are trying to determine like, isn't that marketing even working? This is your opportunity to pay attention. Okay, I'm going to tell you how you can determine if your marketing is working. So, sorry, I'm going to skip these spots unfilled for a second. I'll come back to it. Yes, Elia in the. Can you stop that? Elia said in the chat, Megan had 350 outgoing calls. Girl crushed some calls last week. That was weird.
It says it's coming from you.
I know. It says it's muted. It's weird. Okay. Megan had 350 outgoing calls. Insane. By herself. One human being. Because I had 148, Emma had 99. So we had 597 outgoing calls made last week. So girls were beating up the phones. We had 70 calls answered. Also a wild number. We had 33 quote calls scheduled. We had 21 showed. So our show rate last week was like way lower, and this week was back to normalish. And then we performed 47 calls, which means that between the numbers of calls, quote calls showed versus how much we performed, we created 26 additional quotes, 26 more opportunities. We got 26 more people that we got to say, this much money is what we would charge you to clean your home. That's pretty cool. Like the sign of a valuable office person is how many more opportunities they get versus how much they are given. So if I were to look at your guys' cleaning business, and I would see how many opportunities does your system give versus how many opportunities does the office person create, I can tell you how valuable that person is. Okay, 26 is good. And then we closed 30 people, and the quote call projected revenue on those 30 was $9,703. Okay, and so a ratio to look at. So how do you know if your marketing is working? Like Katie said earlier, it's going to be, well, are you converting? Okay. And so the simple equation, or the simple, like, this is actually not simple, because it's actually 2 steps. So there's a 2-step you got to do here. So you guys paying attention? Everybody pay attention here. How many of you guys would spend $1,650 this week on Monday, and then on Sunday of this week, you get $9,703 back out? Okay, cool. Now, the other thing to also understand, though, is that $9,703 is projected quote call revenue. It is not all profit. Okay, which means that out of that $9,703 of projected cold call revenue, you have to pay your cleaners. If you have office staff, you got to pay your office staff. You also have to pay for your marketing. You also have to pay for if you have rent, all the other expenses. Okay, which means that you, as the cleaning business owner, you're left with 20% at best, right? Okay. So really, what that really means, if you're running a 20% margin, it means for every $5 that you make, the first dollar goes to your cleaners. The second dollar, it goes to your office staff. The third dollar, it goes to your marketing. The fourth dollar, it goes to everything else that requires to run your business. Softwares, rent, insurance, all the things. And then you get to keep that fifth dollar. Okay? So that's a 5-to-1 ratio, essentially, right? And so really when it comes to marketing, you want to make 5 times more than you spent to break even. So if you see this, the untrained eye would be like, yeah, I'm making money on marketing. The reality is that when you're doing 5-to-1, you're breaking even. Which, by the way, is good. If you can break even on marketing, that is really good. So again, just to put in perspective, for you guys who are new to marketing, like that is difficult to do. But if you have a machine that does that, that's how you can grow something really fast. That's how we were able to start a business 51 weeks ago with 0 clients, and we've been shoving $1,000, $2,000, in between $1,000 and $2,000 a week into marketing. And that's how we're able to grow. It's because our marketing makes us money. Now, where do you make your profit from is the conversions. Because with conversions, you don't pay for marketing. Your office staff has less attention on recurring clients. Okay? So the majority of your profit is going to come from recurring. And that's why it's important to get new clients, because simply like they're the pool of candidates that you pull from to get to recurring clients. Right? But that marketing ratio, last week we were at 6-to-1. So again, 5-to-1 is break even. So anything above 5, like we can continue to play this game. But last week we got 6 conversions at $900 for the week, which is good. That means that we have an additional $900 that's on the schedule for March. Okay. So last week we had 15 spots unfilled, and this week we have 48 spots open, which is exciting to see because we actually don't have that many spots open anymore, I bet. And we'll share down below why we probably don't have as many spots open. So when it comes to fulfillment, we did 63 cleans last week. 10 were new clients, 53 were reoccurring. We had 2 correction cleans, 157 reoccurring clients, 66 occasional clients, 6 new conversions, which means we converted 60%, which again is also a good number. And how many Google reviews did we get last week, Katie?
None.
And our current number of reviews?
0.
Boo, boo, boo. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how fast things change. So, yeah. The bigger you get, the bigger you can fall. The more you get of something, the faster it can go away. And so, again, if we're on here just, was it 3 weeks ago? Let me see, this was the week, or maybe it's this week right here. So you guys look on this week, 3 weeks ago, our total number of Google reviews. I can't even find it now. Oh, that had dropped. It must have been this week. Sorry. Switch the sheet around a little bit too. Whatever. We ended up at 403, and now it's down to 0. So fun stuff. It can all go away quick, but we're currently working on getting this back. And then yes, so looks like we actually lost 5 recurring clients last week, and we gained 6. So there's probably an error in here somewhere. We definitely probably lost more that didn't get tracked. But yeah, we lost at least 5. Looks like we lost a little more than that, or maybe some of these people didn't get all inputted into ZenMaid correctly as well. So it's either one of 2 things: is that these guys didn't get inputted under recurring, or these guys, or we missed some canceled recurring clients. But either way, looks like our total number inside ZenMaid is down. So we end up losing more than we gained last week, which is part of the game. That's why it's so important that you always get recurring clients, because you're gonna have, like, if we got 0 recurring clients last week and we lost 5, that wouldn't feel very good. Wouldn't feel very good, right? It still doesn't feel very good to lose 1, but at least we only lost 1 rather than 6. Hey, are you touching things, Katie?
Yeah, well, that equation, $900 at the bottom, is wrong.
Why is it wrong?
'Cause that is way more than $900. Even if those were one time a month, it would be more than $900.
I don't know.
I'll fix it.
70. Yeah, so it's got to, here, I see what the problem is. It's got to go like this.
Oh. If you look at the equations on the side, they're all wrong. It should be H71 times H.
Oh, okay. You can fix that. I'll keep rolling here. Okay, and in that situation, the reason why we would fix that is because they're equations that have nothing to do with anybody else. That's an equation error on our end, not a VA or not an input error. And then last week we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is actually one of the lower numbers I've ever seen. Look at this, Gabe. We only had 5 clients that canceled last week. It's kind of crazy.
Awesome. Good to see that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So only 867, definitely one of our lower numbers. Okay, cool. So we'll come back up here in a moment, and we'll talk about initial cleans, because that seems to be the thing that's stopping us from getting back to $19,000 a week. But now let's talk about cleaners, because last week we had an interesting week in cleaners. So we spent $144 on Indeed. We got 13 applicants, 10 phone interviews scheduled, 7 performed, 3 Zoom interviews, 3 performed. And I don't know if this hire number is correct, because this is the last 3 weeks we've hired nobody, but we definitely are hiring people. So this might be a reporting issue. Last 3 weeks we've said 0, but why does this thing keep growing if it says 0?
So many problems on this vision sheet. What the heck?
This vision sheet. We should just scrap this. Let's just cancel this meeting. All in favor say aye. Cancel the meeting. There's so many problems.
I object.
Just give up. We just give up. Let's just give up because there's too many problems. Let's not solve them. Let's just get frustrated and get mad and give up. That's going to solve the problem. Yes, the sheet changed actually. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. Somebody else's fault. All right. So cleaners. So Haley actually graduated last week. So we have one cleaner who graduated. So Haley graduated. Allie and Josie made it through the first week of training, which was exciting. Sierra started today, and then Pamela is set to start on Friday. So our cleaner acquisition, although apparently we've hired 0 people in the last 3 weeks, it keeps growing. So that part is nice, and it needs to continue to grow because this number is not an error. We lost 5 people last week. We lost 5 cleaners, and 4 of them effective immediately. Right, so Andre, Trina, Giselle, and Alex all done immediately. Amanda gave us 2 weeks, so she'll be done on 3/4. But this, my friends, this is our biggest exodus since we've been in this business for just 1 year. We lost 5 cleaners in a week. And Kitty, how much did we feel it?
It was actually kind of a sigh of relief.
Yeah, we had a lot
from a
of open
business.
spots.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, we had a lot of open spots, and so like it really wasn't that hard. And honestly, the cool part, and we don't have this sheet set up like we have inside our ZenMaid where we actually have the top down. But these 3 people were all on the bottom. Like they were all like firmly on the bottom. Like they were our bottom 3 cleaners. And so we expected them to turn out and it was okay. Now, Amanda and Andre, you can see on here, like they were actually in our top half. Like they were on our solid cleaners. We rated our solid cleaners last week and they were both on there. And so that can also change. So just a good reminder of how fast things can go. So like you expect the bottom, but you don't expect the top. But the top does churn. A lot of you guys have been in business for a couple years. Like, are your best cleaners are still with you? Yeah. Yeah, Andre is gone. Yeah, Andre was very surprising. Like, honestly, and just like a no call, no show. Just done. So, crazy. So, and it's in these moments that I'm just grateful for our first cleaning business, that we've learned so much from. That when I say learned, like learning means you have the same condition and you change your behavior. And so by definition, we have learned because we continue to hire people, even when it appears that we have way too many spots open. we continue to hire because we saw this happen in Bozeman a couple times. Like Katie, when she was operating Bozeman, I think your biggest loss was like 4 cleaners in 1 week. At that time, we only had 6, so it felt like a little bit bigger impact, right? But when we made the transition from Katie to Alaya, we lost 9 cleaners within 2 weeks, I believe it was, right? So we've learned. And this time we lost 5 cleaners, and we're not going to feel it because we're going to continue to hire. Continue. Yeah. Andre gave us, basically what happened with Andre is that he put his 2 weeks in on Sunday, and then he just no-showed until Wednesday. So, like, we thought he was going to be here for 2 weeks, and then he didn't show up. But super nice kid. You know, he came in, gave the office staff a hug, and it was good. So, yeah. Kitty, actually, he's an opportunity to tell your story of leaving the dentist office. So some of you guys don't realize this, but Katie was not always an entrepreneur, right? As most of you guys were not entrepreneurs. And neither was I as well. Like, I haven't always been an entrepreneur, but this is something Katie and I always talk about when these moments happen. So Katie, share your story of leaving the dentist office as a office manager at the dentist office, which is like the highest position you can get in a dentist office without being the freaking doctor, right?
Yeah. So Logan, being the persuading salesman he was, said, come work for me. I have an opportunity for you. Not sure if it's going to be better than what you got. Also, probably can't pay you for a while, but you want to come join me? Because the opportunity is bigger than what you got. And being young and dumb and not honestly seeing, like, worst case scenarios, I go live back at my mom's house.
This was before we were married as well, just so everyone understands that. This is before we were married.
I was like, okay, under one condition. And that condition is I either get to become a business partner, so we make this thing legit, or you commit to me and we get married. So a few days later, he ended up proposing, and a few days later, we ended up getting married. And then I went into the dentist's office, and I said, I am so sorry, but I have another opportunity, and I have to take it. And like a good boss did, he thanked me. He gave me another opportunity. He said, what can we do to keep you? And I went back to Logan and I said, they want me. What do I do? And he said, you know, if you want to do this, like, you got to come. If not, like, go hang out with them. And at the end of the day, I think I quit 3 different times. Like, I said, I'm leaving. And then I was like, I don't want to leave you guys high and dry. I don't want to put you in a bad spot. So when it all came to me actually exiting, I gave him a month's notice, and I trained the new hire as best as I could to replace me. And I got, like, in the dentist office, accounts receivable or outstanding invoices is a huge deal because you bill insurance, and there's like a 30-day lag on it. So I got the accounts receivable as low as it has ever been prior to me exiting, while trying to train this girl, setting them up just so my reputation was saved, that if I ever had to come back, like, the door would be open, or a relationship was never salvaged because they meant a lot to me. They provided me an opportunity when I had nothing, and I just never wanted to hurt them in any way. And today I have a phenomenal relationship with all 3 of the doctors still. And I thank them usually once a year I'll send like a gratitude message, just letting them know that, you know, whatever they did for me at the time it left an impact on me. And my boss always told me, as I was an employee there, and as we had a little bit of churn. Now, the dentist office doesn't churn nearly as much as this company, so a lot of the hygienists and stuff were with us for years. But he always said, you will always be remembered how you leave. You can be here for 10 years and you can kick ass for 10 years, but if you F around for the last month and you leave on bad terms, like, you will be remembered how you leave. And I took that, and I was like, okay, so I knew that I wasn't ever going to be there forever. Well, maybe I didn't until I met Logan. But then I was like, you know what? This is reality. Like, I will always be remembered how I left the company. Simultaneously, when kids are young and naive and don't understand, like Andre's situation was, like, he was a phenomenal employee the entire time that he was here. but like I would never open the door to him again because of the way he left. So it was just a really good lesson for me as a young kid to be taught that like you will always be remembered how you're left.
It's a great freaking story, and I, yeah, it's so good, and I don't think I have anything more to say to that. Just like exactly what you said with Andre too is like you can like be amazing, and but like the door's not closed. That's all. And so I think that's a good lesson for everybody else in here to learn is you can be smart, intelligent, learn from someone else's mistakes, and just like, and it doesn't just have to be an employer; it could be any relationship, right? And I think this is the thing that I think I think is it goes back to the reputation over money in a sense that like people are just like, well, they're not paying me anymore, so like I'm not going to show up anymore. And that really is like it's a variation of like you choosing money over reputation. Like you're like this person's not going to pay me anymore, so like I'm not going to pretend to like them anymore. I'm not going to like listen to their orders anymore. And it just people like lose trust in you really quickly. So um, yeah, so I think it's good. So with that being said, you can be someone's best friend forever, but the moment that you no longer value the relationship to the point where your actions show otherwise, then like you'll be remembered for that the entire time. Okay, so cleaning hours last week. Um, let's see here, nothing too crazy, I don't think. Christy, we had one cleaner who was out the entire week. She actually had I think I think the story. Katie, you might know the story better than I do. She wrecked her, no, her husband wrecked her truck, right? Something like that. And so she was
Hmm.
out. I think she got her truck fixed though. I saw her back at the team meeting today.
Yep.
So she had 0 hours. So again, it was like we had cleaners go out, but then all of a sudden, Christine has an opportunity again. Um, Giselle, yeah, she was one of the people who left. And then let's see here, Amanda, yeah, she was on the 2 week notice. Um, Andre's not even on here anymore because he didn't work at all last week, so he's off here already. But other than that, yeah. Why did Jocelyn have such low hours, Katie? This is actually
Tiffany too. That's a great question that we should probably bring awareness to at our vision meeting with the girls.
okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so I look at this, and I think my concerns are that our top cleaners are not getting at least between 25 and 30 hours. That's where I'd like them to be. So we need to address that at our vision meeting with them to just ensure that we're prioritizing the top cleaner schedules, even when there's lower hours for the week. Like I'd rather see Jocelyn with 30 hours and see Giselle with 0 hours. You know, that's that's the reality of like that's how you fill a top cleaner schedule from the top down is like these people actually have the hours and these people actually don't have any hours. It's not like we spread this out. So anyway, that's a conversation for a different day. Um, yeah, so 21 hours worked, $53 for man hour rate. We had 2 correction cleans, as we talked about before. Don Lopez, hard to meet expectations. And then last week we did a bunch of one-on-ones. So Megan did one-on-ones with Josie. Keziah did one-on-ones with Giselle and Dakota. And Giselle, you see Giselle's on here a couple times because we pushed her. And Katie, why don't you share her message when she put in her 2 weeks? What was her converse like? What was her statement that she said?
I don't even remember.
You don't? Okay, I'll tell you guys. She's like, I'm formally putting in my 2 weeks. I just realized that I can't meet the standards here. I was like, yes, like yes, that's good. Like we clearly communicate what the standard was, and we gave her opportunity to do it, and she chose not to. Like that's a win for both sides, for her as well, not just for us, for her. Like there's nothing worse than you being forced to do something that like you don't want to do or you don't think you can do or a combination of those two things. So we're just like, if you want to be here, cool. If not, then just let us know. But like, there's the standards. We need you to be able to deliver a 5-star experience. We need your teammates to like you. And then if you do those two things, then we'll start to fill your schedule. And she's like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And then I had one-on-ones with Jocelyn, Nikki, and Trina. Trina was one. We had to let Trina go. And then Nikki was actually a good one-on-one. So for all you guys who are inside the coaching program, definitely one is a good one to listen to. So she is actually friends and roommates with Alex, who we had to let go. And Alex was somebody who caused a little bit of drama, and the office staff didn't like her because they made her life harder. And so we thought that there was a potential that birds of a feather flock together, and we thought Nikki might go down that same hole. So like I just got on a call with her the very next day just to ensure. I wanted to have her either grow up with the company or grow out, same thing. And she made it very clear that she wants to be here. She made it very clear that she like disassociated herself with Alex and her actions, and she's like, I feel like I'm getting like wrapped into her drama, and I don't want that to be part of the case. And I was like, okay, cool. And I just gave her clear action steps on what she needed to do in order for the office to have trust in her so that they can feel comfortable filling her schedule. And now that was last Wednesday, now it's Monday, and I've seen it already a couple times that she has taken action from that conversation, and the girls are filling her schedule. So that is actually pretty cool to see. So, okay. So that was the week of 215 and 221, week number 51 in Mesa 5-star cleaning. This week, highlights, we lost 5 cleaners. Hooray! But we also have 5 cleaners in the pipeline with one that just graduated. Also, hooray. We only lost 5, I guess it's 5. We only had 5 clients fall off the schedule last week, which is really crazy, which is cool to see. We only lost 5 recurring clients, I guess, what this says. Also really cool to see. It's just a game of 5s, right? It's just, everything is a 5 today. What else is 5 in here? Anything else? Do you see any other 5s? Nope. Okay. All good. So now we just need to get $5 more thousand on the schedule to hit 19,000. So Katie, how do we do that? How do we go from 14,000 to 19,000?
Yeah, I think the first thing that I would like to highlight and make clear for the masses is there's a fear around like not having work when you hire people. And if you live truly through that fear, you will never be able to grow a business because the opportunity isn't even there. The only way you even put yourself in a position to be able to grow is to have cleaners available. If you don't have cleaners available, you'll never have the opportunity to grow. So the first thing is like we lost 5 cleaners last week and we were not impacted by it. Why? Because we always are hiring. Simultaneously, as you hire, it starts with quantity. You have to go through the masses. Same thing with the marketing funnel when we bring in clients into our funnel of being able to perform cleans for them. There are crazy people out there who like are not happy with our service, complain, want a freebie, like whatever. There's also crazies that will come in as cleaners on your team, and it's your job as the leader to respect the true stars on your team and elevate them by not tolerating the underperformers, because you'll lose your top performers if you continue to tolerate low performers, because the top performers are responsible for picking up the low performers' slack. So as a leader, it is of the utmost importance for you to first hire at mass volume and then filter through the mass volume to elevate the quality that you're looking for in your team members. So it starts by the numbers first, and then once you have the numbers, then you can start to pick and choose your favorites through standards and values, and then elevate them, and then the bottom half continues to churn until your top half actually grows into that bottom half. And then you need to hire more. And it's a constant cycle of continuing to elevate standards to keep true top performers, because you'll lose your entire top half of your team if you let anybody onto your team. So in order to grow your revenue, you have to have cleaners available.
Yeah, and that's 90% of most home cleaning business problems is that problem. That's the problem. You don't have enough cleaners. In this very moment, that's not Mesa 5-star's problem, which is cool. Hooray! Our problem is new sales, right? So this number right here is the problem. And so in this very moment, because this number is low, it's $3,500, and we know that we can hit 5,000. And this week specifically, like we started this week out with already $14,000 in the books, which means that there's more reoccurring on this week. So we just need to continue to make new sales, and then those new sales turn into recurring clients by doing the conversion process, right? That new conversion process for everybody who's inside the coaching program is inside the coaching program under recurring client training. It's brand spanking new. It's been there for not even 2 weeks yet. But it's a process that we're using, and a lot of people in here are now being able to use that, and they're starting to see some early success from that recurring client training process. But just like having a process, having a system in itself, like starting with something will gives you the opportunity to be consistent. And when you're consistent with something, then you have the probability of getting results over the course of time. And really, how you're going to grow $1 million business is like you don't grow it in a week. You don't even grow it in a year, right? But it's doing the right things for the right amount of time. And so, full transparency, we're still learning what the right amount of time is. Like this is the first time that we've grown something this fast. Bozeman, it took us 3 years to get that thing to $1 million, and so this thing it's not even to a year yet, and like we're doing $1 million numbers occasionally. Actually, we've done it once. That's to be factual. We've done it one time, right? And so that's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting to know that like within a year we've been able to actually see that it's possible, and now how we're going to be able to like do it consistently is we have to push the gas down on initial clean revenue sales. And so here, let me share with you guys what I'm going to share with our team here. We do our vision meeting later this week, because if you look down at our sales numbers, like how many of you guys would be cool with 30 sales and almost $10,000 of projected cold call revenue? How many of you guys would be okay with that? Would that be okay for most people? Yeah, I'm okay with it too. Just as a side note, like these numbers are pretty good. So it's why it's hard. That's why this game is hard. But if you want to grow fast, it's the details, it's the nuance. And so how we can adjust this is that the problem is that $9,000, as you guys can see, isn't on this week. It got sold out into the future. So one of the things we're going to talk about is when I listen to calls with my team, when we ask the client, when's your timeline for getting a clean, and they say, you tell me when you're available, what I'm noticing is that we're not taking advantage of that. We're just like, oh, okay. And we're not like, oh my gosh, well, I can get you in today. I can get you in tomorrow. And so pulling that timeline to within 7 days does two things. It increases the probability that they actually go through the clean, that they won't cancel, because the further it gets out, the higher likelihood that the motion of like making the buying decision, that it goes away, and then makes it easier for them to cancel. So the quicker we can make that, the higher probability to go through, and we'll have less cancellations, and we'll increase our revenue. So that's one of the big things we're going to talk about is like speed. Like we got to, when someone says they have a timeline that they don't have like a firm timeline, then it's got to be today or tomorrow, right? Like we're going to make this happen because we have the availability. That's the advantage we have of like having cleaners who have open spots. We can get you in today or tomorrow. Most people can't do that because they're afraid to do the thing that Kate talked about earlier, which is actually hire people. Like we have a huge advantage. That's why we can grow pretty fast. That's why we have grown fast. Okay, that's one of the biggest things. The second thing, this is something we actually got from Elia, is as soon as a lead comes in, we call them. Regardless if they schedule a cold call, regardless of whatever behavior that they have done, the moment a lead comes in, we call. And so I've created an SOP for our team to follow that they can use in order for them to identify when brand new leads come in, that they can call them. We call it beating the text, because we have a text that goes out 5 minutes after, an automated text. If we can beat the text, the probability of somebody signing up is very, very high. Very, very high. Okay. So those are like the two big strategies that we're going to use in order to increase this number is, yes, we're making the sales. Now let's just make it so that they happen today. They happen tomorrow. They happen within 7 days. The second thing is like speed to lead. So the moment that a lead comes in, let's go get them. Like call them. Regardless if they schedule a cold call, regardless if they respond to the text, call them. Speed always wins. Speed always wins. That's speed to contact them, speed to get them in. Those are the two biggest drivers. And we're playing a game of this nuance of like, how do we go from $9,000 to $12,000 to $13,000 to $14,000 to $15,000? By the way, like our best week is $16,000. So again, I know it's possible. But if you want to be great, like it takes you doing all the little things. Because like quote calls performed, 47 is pretty good. I actually like to see this number a little bit higher too. Like 60 would be a good number. However, that's another number too. Is like how else can we increase this number? Is like 60 quotes performed. Because like the girls are closing 63%. Like that's phenomenal. I'll take that all day long. Now if we can just get on a couple more quotes, okay? Can we just do some more? Okay. Outgoing calls made, wild. This number's crazy. So now it's like the efficiency. So I'm like, how do we be more efficient with our outreaches? And so that's the next level of this too that I'm going to communicate with them. I was like, where can we communicate with people that has the highest probability of them just jumping on phone calls with us? What messages can we send to get people to be like, yeah, I'm interested. Okay, and that's how we're going to increase this number. But how this number, this 9,703, is going to translate to this initial clean revenue is speed, getting them on the schedule today and tomorrow. So that's what we're going to be working on over the next month, is really focusing on that. And so, yeah, because and then by doing that, we also are going to continue to focus on recurring clients, because that's what takes time. It takes time, but like if this recurring client number can just get to $14,000-$15,000, then $3,500 a bad week will still get you to 19. Right? And that's what the goal is, to try to make it as easy as possible for us to hit that $19,000 a week goal. So, Katie, anything else that you want to add to that?
I think you nailed it.
Nailed it. Yes, beat the text. So that's my last thing to leave with you guys. Like, for cleaning business, home cleaning business, your value is in your speed. Speed to communicate, communication with leads, communication with applicants, communication with cleaners, communication with clients. And that's why solo cleaners, like, they can never win those games. And so how you can compete against people who are like charging $2 an hour is you don't compete against them. You play a different game. You play the game of speed. People who are solo cleaners, or small teams, and for that matter, like, they're slow. They're slow. And so that's how you win those games. Because in this marketplace, there's three things that people buy. Price is one. So if you guys want to be the lowest cost leader, go for it. You're probably not going to win that game. You can play the game of speed. And the third one is value. And so really, we want to play these two games. We want to play speed and value. Okay, cheap, we don't want to play that game. So hopefully you guys got some value from today. Speed and value, those are the games we're going to play. Let the solo cleaners play the cheap game. Okay? We're never going to win that game, so don't try to be the cheapest. Be the fastest and be the best value. Okay? So happy freaking Monday. That was week number 51. Next week, week number 52. Maybe I'll have a surprise for you guys next week on year number 1. Or maybe my surprise will be that I will still be here. I will still be here after 1 year, right? Whether we did good, whether we did bad, I'm still showing up, right? If you guys want to go listen to previous episodes of this for free, go check out the podcast, Building $1 Million Home Cleaning Business Podcast, absolutely free. You guys can literally listen to episode number 1, where we made $400 in week number 1. Ryan Overcash was our first ever freaking client. Saw him in the gym the other day, gave him a big bro pound, and then I was like, bro, we're going to clean your home for free because I appreciate you so much. It was a $700 clean we gave him to for free. So I was like, thank you so much. Just like Katie said earlier, appreciate the people who helped you when nobody else would. Like, that mentality. Thank you, Ryan. I'll prove it. I'll show you that I appreciate you by giving you a free cleaning. So outside of that, if you guys are inside the coaching program and you're inside the advisor program, let's go coach. We got a coaching call right now, and I got to go get on it. So everybody else, super appreciate you. Happy Monday. There's another call for free if you guys are not part of the coaching program and you're like, I want more free shit. Well, there's a free call on Friday where I'm actually coaching somebody who has a cleaning business in Sacramento, California. They're at $25,000. I'm coaching them $40,000. You guys can get on that call for free as well. Okay. For everybody else, if you're inside the coaching program, your call is going to be tomorrow with Elia, where she's documenting the journey to $300,000 in profits. Go get on that call. For everybody else's advisor, let's go. See you on the advisor call. Katie, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Bye.